Alright guys, welcome back to the channel. So, I'm going to start off by saying I came from micro drift. Alright, I love the scale factor of it. I used to be into crawling a long time ago. I just kind of got out of it. It just wasn't quite where I wanted it to be. So, I found micro drift. If any of y'all had never heard of it, you should check it out. I've got some videos lower on my page about micro drift. Absolutely fantastic hobby. It is probably the hardest and most rewarding section of RC I've ever done. So, but then I saw this guy, 24 Yep, Trey Wibble. Started seeing some of the stuff he was posting, and I was like, wow. I believe his Play Mobile bug and the VW van by Play Mobile that he did was just mind-blowing. Well, I actually had started to talk to Trey. I was trying to get him to trade a micro drifter for one of these crawlers, and drift just wasn't his thing. So I thought to myself, well, dang it, you're going to have to build one of these things. So I set off on a mission. I love the scale factor of everything he was doing. The scale bodies, the details, the rust, all of it. I loved it. I was already into the rust part in micro drift, but I also liked the comp side of things. Not necessarily comp crawlers, but the crazy lines that comp crawlers can do. So I set off on a mission. I wanted to blend scale and performance the best I could. It's a trade-off. Like you can't have them both. You can have just a little bit of this and a little bit of that, but you know, if I did what I was aiming out to do, I would try to find this perfect little blend of both. And I feel like I've done pretty good at that, just in the short amount of time that I've been back into crawling. So I'm going to go over a little bit of my setup. I set a lot of my crawlers up the same way, and yeah, I hope some of this helps some of y'all hit some harder lines, and you know, that's basically what it's all about. We're all out here to have fun. I don't want to gatekeep stuff. I want to let everybody know about this stuff because it's super fun, and that's what this hobby is to a lot of us. It's fun. It's an escape from the norm. It's just an escape from the everyday world that can be pretty rough sometimes, if I'm honest. So I quit running my mouth. Let's go over some setup stuff. All right, sun is blazing, so I hope the light is going to be okay. I decided to do this outside. It's kind of dark in my shop. These are 3 crawlers that I've made here recently that I think fit the bill pretty good. They are very, very capable, this guy especially. But let's dig right into it. All right, so I built this one recently. This was the Coupe Eel chassis underneath. I kind of took a different approach and did a front motor setup. I like to aim my motor backwards in a lot of cases. And my gig is it needs to be light, low, and your suspension geometry needs to be good. So anyways, one of the main things I want to point out is my link setup in the rear. Okay, I went a different route, and I'm using a way shorter link. I tried the outbound link thing. I didn't see any results. I heard somebody say that it was, you know, to keep you on a side hill a little better. I didn't see that result, not at all. But I did see results when I shortened my links and I moved them up the chassis rail as high as I could get them. Now, be aware, the shorter you make the links, the more you will have a driveline angle like that, okay? You don't want to go too steep. And it'll cause it to do some weird stuff. But a lot of times these crawlers are bottomed out like that, or when they flex, you don't have that crazy angle. Okay, I haven't got to run this one much. I am fixing to do some content on it pretty soon. But next up, this is one that I'm pretty tickled with the way it came out. I did a SDRC body. I went ahead and kind of chopped it up, put a flatbed on the back, did a homemade dog box, bunch of little details, the whole nine. And this is sitting on a Cheat Code V3. I had the Cheat Code V3 Cerakoted camouflage. I had plans to go a completely different route with this. It took on its own form. A lot of times these crawlers tell me what they want. I don't tell them what to do. I know that sounds weird. But once again, I raised my links just as high as I could possibly get them. I actually recycled some of my links from some of my early builds before high clearance links were even a thing. And Vedco shocks, Lizard Pro, a nano receiver. I know you'll hear more about that in coming videos. But Muse isokinetic axles, Lord, I love them. So on a side hill, I did notice that the further I could get my shocks out to the outside of the axle, the better it did on a side hill. It also actually helps it flex. If you'll watch the shock straighten up as it goes up, I don't know if you can see it. You'll see a little better on the other. If in my opinion, it helps the shocks actually cycle a little better. Okay, I don't like to give up my flex. I do like some flex. So light, low. I did use a Mofo NanoBam with the his stock motor location. Oh no, that isn't stock. I'm sorry, that is his center mount. And I coupled it to a overdrive transmission, and I even did the underdrive gears in the rear axle. So this thing is very front wheel overdriven, and I find it helps. But with the Muse isokinetic axles, I mean, look at that. Like, you don't really need a whole lot of it. So when I started crawling this thing, I needed some more weight up front when I made the body. Body's kind of heavy. So I went ahead and cut up one of the magnet mounts that came with the kit, and I got the low rise magnet mount and added 2 more magnets in the front, just solely for weight. I always put a limiting band setup on them when I can, and I believe that really helps you go up inclines. But I always want to put my limiting band in the center. I want it to act like a pivot, so I still don't lose any of my shock cycle, but it keeps the front from picking up when I'm going up an incline. So now we're going to go look at one of my favorites. Oh, I love this thing. I call this guy Barney. All right, Barney is a V2 Alien in aluminum. All right, there wasn't a whole lot of aluminum V2s ever made. I was lucky enough to get my hands on one. So once again, shortened up the rear links, raised them up as high as possible. Light, low. There's a nano receiver. You put the nano receiver in a little bit of heat shrink, and I believe it weighs 1.26 grams. Once again, center limiting band on the servo. I use a Little Guys Racing Parts limiting band setup, but I have found that their little O gaskets they send are junk. They don't last very long at all, so I just grabbed some rubber bands out of the drawer in the house, and there we go. But I usually double bend my own links. I've figured out a way to do that. Let me see if I can get down here low enough so you can see. I like to have all the clearance I can back in the back. Now this is, I believe this is a 5-degree skid, 40mm Endura shocks. I like to mount my shocks super low on the chassis rail. I know it's not how you're supposed to do it, but it allows for a lot more flex than you would normally get. So to set my ride height, I've actually glued this little thing together, one of the braces, and chopped it up, and now I can actually set my ride height by just twisting that on the fly in the field. See how it's sitting up high like that? If I want to lower it a little bit, I can lower it a little bit. Or if I just want to full-blown get ridiculous, Carolina squat it and just make it look ridiculous, that's how I do that. So guys, I hope some of this stuff maybe helps you guys. I always also, with these Muse Isokinetics, I love to get a diff slider. I believe this one's from Venge RC. I believe SDRC makes one, if I'm not mistaken. Anyways, there's a few of them on Etsy. Go check them out. I've got to where I'm chopping up tires and I'm doing all kinds of stuff. I mean, you know how this hobby goes. Once you kind of get started, you learn certain information and you're on a mission. So that's my setup, guys. The link trink by itself, probably one of the single greatest things that I've figured out here lately. And the nanos, I brought them over from Micro Drift. I've been using them for quite a while. Biggest thing too is balance. You really need to try to balance these things as much as possible. If I've got the motor on this side, I will try to put all the electronics on the other side. You know, any way I can get a perfect balance. I do want to try to do a 60-40 split. I'll be honest with you, I don't know what any of these are. I don't have a set of scales. I'm going to end up having to order a set. But this thing right here performs pretty good, as you can see in the opening videos. The body itself, I think, weighs about 63 grams, I think. It's not super heavy, but it's a hard body. And, you know, it definitely makes the crawler perform less when they have a hard body. I also like to do my cuts, so my links will actually be the only thing that's low, or the only thing that hits as I go over obstacles, is be the links. So I also did the same with the cheat code. Like I said, blending scale and performance. So I know a lot of you guys probably follow me on Instagram. If you don't, you should. It is Small Scale Radio Control. I post a lot of content on there. I'm in my story constantly, running my mouth. Just who I am. But I hope some of this stuff helps. I hope it inspires some of y'all to try some stuff that's different. You never know if it's going to work till you try it. So get out there, hit some rocks, try some different stuff, and share the information. Let's progress the hobby forward every chance we get. Help other people out. Don't gatekeep this stuff. You know, we're all here to have fun. That's first and foremost. Like, subscribe, all that good stuff, and catch you on the next one.